Good evening, everybody. Okay, whether you want to call it the Trump rally or the Santa rally, it's still a rally. We can see that the Dow is not backing off. And all we have is one simple criteria. We're in an uptrend as long as they don't close these indexes below the T-line. Same scenario on the NASDAQ. You can see how it was moving sideways, but still staying up above the T-line. I would think that the breakout is still in progress. And the transportation index how come that doesn't look? Oh, there it's that's transportation index did a bullish Harami today, so it'll be important to see if they can get back up through this downtrending channel. Well, right now everything looks like we're in uptrends. Here's the U.S. dollar. A stronger U.S. dollar is usually a deterrent on the stock market. It means less things are going to be shipped overseas, but you can see the market's holding up as the dollar is holding up. Crude oil. Oops. The January contract. Oh, this is not good. We're getting a little bit of delay here. You can see we're still in this uptrending channel, and gold is still very lethargic. Still below the T-line, not doing too much of anything. So overall, the markets are just kind of good. And I would suspect that we don't have anything major to change the direction of the market at this point between now and the end of the year. Pretty much because I would suspect everybody's going to hold on to gains if they've got gains. They flip it out into next year, which more than likely the tax rates are going to be much more favorable. So, hold on, I got the darn cat up here. Okay, come back later. All right, the one that we've been trading in right now is February hogs. You can see how when they came up to the 200, it did your J-hook pattern, supported on the 200, still heading higher. And the same scenario on the on live cattle. You can see where the bobble occurred. We're still now in just a steady uptrend. Wave 3 of a J-hook pattern. Yeah, that cat's a little bit out of sorts. We got all the grandkids here, some of the grandkids here. So all her hiding places got a lot of activity around it. So she's down here with me. It's a little bit more quiet. All right, been making some very good money, and it's coming off of identifying which patterns are setting up nicely. So NVIDIA has been one where we could definitely see that there was a resistance level right in here. Saw the little reversal breakthrough. So suspect wave 1 and wave 3. If wave 1 was 30 some odd points, looking for this to head up into the 125 area. That's right. Oh, the grandkids, I think, are probably a lot smarter than I am. They've got all their Nintendo games. We recommended PI because that was our inverted hammer, bullish confirmation, positive trading today would tell us the J-hook pattern is still in progress. And as you can see, we should be coming back up come back up and test the highs. If it breaks through there, another potential wave to the upside. But the fact that they did, again, this is a combination of identifying what type of signal you had. Remember, an inverted hammer with bullish confirmation gives you a very, very strong probability you're going to be heading higher. Another pattern we recommended AMD. It was based on a little scoop pattern, a little best friend signal, followed by a doji sandwich. You just stay long on this one until you see a sell signal. And Kara was recommended today because it bounced off the 50. Has a little, oh, pshaw, what is happening here? Well, something's happened. Oh. I don't know what's wrong with this thing. Hold on. So I've been putting a battery in almost every single day into the mouse. This just doesn't make sense. That was it, I think. Okay. It's going through a battery a day. Eesh. I don't think so. It's one of these. It must be a cat. Okay. It is a fairly new house. You remember which ones they do use. These are the Energizers. Okay. So anyways, we had a scoop type pattern. I'd still be a buyer of Kara on positive trading tomorrow because that scoop pattern will still be in effect. And again, the criteria or the confirmation is basically seeing a bullish Harami right smack dab on the 50. Oh, I'm saying the mouse is fairly new, meaning within the last 3 months. Oh, I've lost my place here. Oh, Kara. AK Steel. You can see here it's just closed back up above the T-line today. It can still be bought if it opens positive. It tells us this may be a J-hook pattern setup. Kara upside, that'd be my first target, which would be 3 points on a $9 stock, 35% to the upside. I wouldn't want to see Kara close below the T-line. If it did, told us that the scoop pattern has disappeared. Whoops. Yes. Even though it's pointing down, if they start bringing this back up as a J-hook, then you're going to see the stochastics start curling back up. So look more as to what's happening in the pattern. Again, if it opened lower tomorrow, you want to be out of it. If it opens higher, you want to start looking to buy it on the J-hook. These will follow, the stochastics will follow if he starts moving higher. We've got Save, which is just kind of your steady Eddie. Needed to open positive and trade positive today, which it did. Now it has to open positive. If it opens lower tomorrow, then you close it out. It tells you they weren't keeping it up above the T-line. And Square, we still have some of this. All you can do on this one is stay long as it stays above the T-line. Let's see. Somebody mentioned IONS was on CNBC this afternoon. That's still at the breakout level. You can see the fry pan bottom. You can see the dimple. See, you're right here at the breakout. If this started trading positive, especially up to today's high and or the open of Friday, I'm going to be a buyer. That tells you you're breaking out into wave 3. Let's see. And Court, stay long on this one. But with a little doji out here and kind of your wedge, it definitely has to open positive. Now, I'd suspect it's opening positive because your stochastics are still in an upward direction. Looks like it's doing everything. There's your kind of your Morningstar signal. If it came back up through today's high, which was 854, I'd put a buy stop at 857 or so. If it comes up through there, it's broken this downward trend channel, broken this little wedge, and continuing the basing action. All right, let's see what else we got here. ERII. Notice what it's doing. Nudging the 50. If this opens positive tomorrow, you want to buy it immediately because that's what everybody else is watching. You can see how it's doing kind of a bobble pattern, but if it opens positive, you probably want to be buying it right out of the chute because everybody will be watching to see if they're going to keep it up above the 50. When they see it trading above the 50, they're going to start piling in. This is the type of trade setup that will give you a very high probability, strong price move. And even as a day trader, this is the setup you're looking for. Positive open, you can probably get a 3, 5, 7, 10% move in it in one day. Yeah, the bios are a little bit soggy at this point. Let's see, OCUL needs to open positive. I wouldn't be afraid to be a buyer, especially if it came up through the high. Tell me they broke this downtrending channel, especially off a hammer. Inverted hammer, doji gap up. Get ready to buy this one. That's a good looking chart. INSY. Starting, you can see how you've got the beginnings of a cradle pattern. If this opens positive, look for a big move, probably back up there, because this whole series of dojis pretty much alerts you to the fact that when the buying started, if they start buying again tomorrow, there's probably going to be a lot of pressure here. Which one, Bert? And SGY is a perfect example of why you let the charts tell you. Remember they, went into receivership or restructured their debt? Got the buying started from, just look what would have happened if you bought on a belt hold. Somewhere down here, somebody was gutsy, buying it at 430, closed at 10. They've made a whale of a profit in that one over the last couple of days. But the fact that they did a belt hold told us the buyers are coming in. They've wiped out a lot of sellers. So another one that looks like that type of setup is GoGo. Big left-right bullish belt hold, fry pan bottom. I'd be a buyer of this one on positive trading. And ELEX. See how this belt hold down here? Had a belt hold here, didn't confirm. Had a belt hold here, starting to confirm. This one could probably get back up at least to the 50, filling this gap up here. Good percentage trade. So again, we're looking for things that tell us pretty much where the probabilities are in our favor. We started buying or recommended CRBP a while back because it was breaking this wedge type formation, bouncing off the 50. You can stay with this as long as it stays above the T line. If you're buying, look to buy at the $9 area. That would tell us they're now coming back up to test this level. If they break out through there, you got a real strong run. hold on to your individual requests until we get done with all the ones that we want to look at. And when I tell Jim to do the double line, that's when you type in your request. So here's another one that broke this downtrending channel, did it with a gap up, and notice what happened. Now we're in wave 3. You can still buy this one on positive trading tomorrow because more than likely it's eventually going to come back up and test that recent high. Oh, and FLDM we recommended a while back. There's your little T-line crunch. There's your bobble. And notice where it went to, right smack dab to the 200. So when you start to see the selling today, that's when you can take your profits because that's where everybody else is watching. Now you watch for the bobble pattern to see if it comes back, hits the T-line, and comes back up through. So if I sold out somewhere in here, and after 3 or 4 days it comes back up through, I don't mind buying back a few pennies higher because I know at least there's a high probability you're now moving in that direction again. J-hook pattern, bobble breakout. Let's see, Nugget, just illustrating that the golds are very lethargic at this point. Just nothing there. Wouldn't be long or short. So there's going to be times where you just stay out of a sector just because there's nothing going on. We recommended CCJ doing the kind of the J-hook pattern. It didn't execute today, but put a buy stop right up here at yesterday's high or Friday's high. That if it comes up through there, you've got a J-hook pattern in progress. And that was somewhat like we saw in AQXP, where we had the J-hook pattern or the fry pan bottom J-hook pattern breakout. I'd still be a buyer of this on the next signs of that the selling has stopped. As long as you stay above the T-line. And right now, even today's open would be a good place to put a buy stop. But if it comes up through there, pretty much tells you the profit taking after this big breakout move is over. And what do we expect coming out of a fry pan bottom? A wave like this, that tells us we should be heading probably pretty close to the $20 area. Let's see, some of the biggies. This is why you want to be able to analyze. Oh, cat. Oh, how about that? Right in front of me, and she starts her stretching. You can see what type of pattern is setting up in that Amazon. It's a wedge. So that pretty much, when you can identify that they're not going in any direction, just move on to something else. Now, that doesn't mean you give up on this chart because when they break out one way or the other out of this wedge, you're going to have a good, strong move in that direction. Netflix, still in a slow uptrend, and the main term there is slow. Probably isn't something you want to be trading. The one that seems to be working well in the biggies right now is Apple. That's a good percentage move. Bullish engulfing, J-hook pattern, broke through the 50, came back, tested the 50, gapped up again, told us our upside potential is up here filling the gap, which it almost did today. Then it should test the highs. So that I think so. Now she's just sitting on my desk looking at me. Can't put an animal. Oh, and CLVS had an announcement today, and this is the type of thing you want to watch for. What did they do on this announcement? Traded up big, but what happened? They actually broke out. So if this opens positive tomorrow, you can still be buying. Because that tells you the profit taking that occurred late in the day is over, that this breakout is still in progress. So this becomes a good trade setup, knowing that if the profit taking is over, and the profit taking will be over if they open up positive, they're ready to take it right back up again. Scamp, another kind of J-hook or flow curve, and you had an inverted hammer bullish confirmation. Not a bad chart, not a great chart, but not a bad chart. Did I do this one already? It looks familiar. I did. INSEE. Yeah, I did that on there already. Now, some in the oil patch, because crude oil is holding up pretty well, this one you might want to take a look at. Look at your slow curve. Look where it's occurring. It's broken out through this downtrending channel. You had kind of an inverted hammer. You're supporting on the T-line. I would suspect your next target is the 50, which would be just above this area. That still would be a good 20-25% upside. CRR is another one that, as long as it stays above the T-line, especially if they open this positive, look for a breakout here. Because you've got your T-line crunch, it went through a resistance level, then notice what happened. They came right back to the resistance level to see if it was going to act as support. And how did we know it was going to act as support? Because we had a doji. Now, it's a very simple rule. It moved in the direction of how they were going to open it after a doji, so we're back up above the T-line. This just has the makings of a J-hook pattern, and if it came up through the 50, came back and supported at the 50, where do you think your next target's going to be? Right up here. Just a high probability trade setup. Whoops, that was on CARR. Chesapeake. Another J-hook pattern setup. Little Morningstar type signal. Wouldn't be afraid to be buying this one on a wave 1, wave 2, wave 3. If you buy this on positive trading tomorrow, our upside potential should be about 3 points up to the 1050 area. Our downside risk is right back here below the T-line. So you might have 25 cents risk for a 3-point move to the upside. And there's a couple more in the ETE, slow curve upside potential. You could be buying this one still, and Whiting, belt hole, or I'm sorry, bullish engulfing, little scoop type pattern. I'd get ready to buy this one on positive trading. CAVM, another J-hook pattern. Now, the advantage of going after patterns is if the market's slowly moving up, there's going to be a lot of stocks slowly moving up. If you identify a pattern, you not only are able to tell that you're in an upward direction, one, but you can tell that the magnitude of that move is going to be a lot greater than just a gradual up move. Steinmart. This has a good-looking chart. Gapped up through the 50. Now it's back up through the 50 again. First target is filling the gap. Second target is up there at the 200. Good percent move. Another bobble potential. Notice how it failed. Gapped up and failed at the 200. Hold back, and what did it do right on the T-line? Doji, hammer. If you're buying this one aggressively, you can buy in positive trading tomorrow. You just watch to see what it does here. If you want to be a little bit more conservative, look to see if they can close it above the 200 and then start buying it. AWI, J-hook pattern, and how is this one starting? The Morningstar signal. Wouldn't be afraid to be buying this one on positive trading tomorrow. COLL, as you can see, when it broke this little downtrending channel, which was also kind of a whole resistance area, that starts your uptrend. So you could either go after something like that now or something like WLB. You can see how it's been resisting right here. if it breaks this little downtrending channel, you can start buying that one. So this is why you want to get your eyes accustomed to, you're seeing buy signals, you're not moving away from the T-line, your stochastics are getting toward the lower end of the range. Watch for that breakout into wave 3. Okay, and we got a few that look good on the short side. Tahoe, notice what happened when it hit the 50. Failed with a bearish engulfing signal, gap down. Where's your next likely target? Down here somewhere. That's something you can start shorting on weakness. Same thing with Las Vegas Sands. Notice what type of pattern you got set up, a bearish J-hook. Now you have your doji gap down. I'd be shorting this one on weakness with my first target being the 200. Might not be that far away, but at least puts you on a positive mode. Then you just watch to see whether it holds here. If not, this is wave 1. Wave 3 should bring you down in this area someplace. We're still short SSYS. As you can see where it failed, right up here at the 50. Want to stay short or even go short if it comes down through the lows of the last couple of days. The biotechs, you can see kind of the slow curve, bearish engulfing. This one should bring you all the way back down to this level and then possibly down into this area. So ACOR can be shorted on weakness. CYNO, bearish engulfing. Notice all the indecision right here at the 200. Big move to the downside. Same magnitude would bring you down into way down here somewhere. 37, 36, in that range. And CLF, which had been acting well all the way up, now would have a pullback. So this is where's your pullback? We want to see where it's going to pull back. We know we have more downside in the stochastics. So we try to find everything that would be someplace you could pull back to. The 50, there's a gap right here at approximately the 200, and or put Fibonacci retracements on here. Well, shuzzbutts. How do you get rid of this? So you watch this area, this area, this area. We don't know where it's going to pull back to, but we've got the benefit of seeing when it hits one of these levels, what type of signals it produces at those levels. All right, so with the market still not showing any selling, I'd still be suspect of some profit taking, but before the end of the year, you're probably not going to see a whole lot of profit taking, because if there's a good probability that they're going to lower taxes next year on everything, everybody's going to hold off to move things out into 2017. Okay, so with that, are there any general questions on candlesticks? General questions on candlesticks. Yeah, a little bit of a scoop pattern on HCP. Same scenario here. What you have to watch, though, is what happens when it gets to the top of the handle. And CSRA, that one I'd be more apt to go after with it if it came back up through there. Now you have a big wave 1, wave 2, slow curve, scoop type pattern on wave 3. How does volume play? The reason we found them in the first place is because they're in a universe of where they're already trading above our minimum. I don't know what the volume is here. If I've got them up here, it's because what was that one? Today it traded 1.1 million shares on that one. And ERR traded 600,000. So, yeah, if they're trading up above 200,000, they're going to be all right. Okay, I guess with that, Jim, go ahead and do the double line. Okay, United Technologies. Just stay long. I wouldn't be aggressively buying it, but you can see what's happened here. You're still in the 45 degree as long as it stays above the T line. Labu was weak today, which kind of gave an indication that they still haven't broken the biotechs back to the upside. So there's not any energy there yet, which means Lab D was bouncing back up a little bit. Not anything that I'd be buying or selling right now. So the biotechs are kind of stagnant. AGX, as long as this stays up above the T line, you stay with it. So if I saw something like this, if I held on to it, my criteria would be it has to open positive and trade positive to stay in it. Yes, as long as it stays above the T line, it just tells you your uptrend is still in place. SDLP, another one that your upside potential is back up to the highs. You can see how your J-hook type pattern is setting up. That's a good looking chart. And VLY, bullish engulfing. Get ready to buy this one on positive trading tomorrow, and just don't let it close back below the T line. AMAT has to open positive tomorrow to stay in it. If it opens lower, close out the position. You can see how it's lost its bullish energy. Micron, another one where you want to see this open positive. You can see a little bit of a wedge type setup, but as long as it stays above the T line, you're all right. Aetna, stay short. I would suspect they're coming back to test the 50, maybe the 200. EPE, this one you can get ready to buy on positive trading tomorrow. Notice a little left-right combo today, staying up above the T line. Another J-hook pattern on Sanchez, kind of your piercing signal. So you can buy this one on positive trading. Just make sure you watch to see what it does once it hits the high. Marvell, this one should have been closed out with it opening lower and not getting back up above the T line. Now you can see you're kind of back in a sideways mode. And Gibraltar needed to get back up above the T line. Hasn't done that yet. If you were short, I would have covered the short. I just wouldn't be going long just yet. Mankind exited day trade on 10-minute T line break near the close. How much pullback might you expect at the open volatility to get back in the second day? You still had a message, which was it broke out to this level. I would just see if they open this positive tomorrow, start trading up and get back in it. Remember, the 10-minute chart that close to the end of the day, I'll take a look at it just to kind of illustrate. That's the 5-minute. See, that at the end of the day would not have concerned me at all. That's just the end of the day trading. So you got one 10-minute period where it closed below the T line. That doesn't necessarily mean it's going to trade lower tomorrow. All that meant was there's some profit taking on the close. which you extrapolate and say, all right, my daily chart is still a very strong chart. So if you did close out, just make sure if it opens positive tomorrow, you get right back into it. Chris, that's a good-looking chart. Sure your volume is good. And D2, not anything great because you didn't have a bullish signal, but you did have indecision down here. So if you're buying it, you just have to be a lot more conscious of what happens once it gets to the first resistance levels. LXU, nothing here yet. If you were short, probably should have covered it today near the close. Definitely on positive trading, you'd cover a short position, but I wouldn't be a buyer of this one until it does close up above the T line. Nordic, nothing here. If you're shorting it, this is your support level. I wouldn't. You definitely want to be out of this one. You had the kind of the evening star signal. There's no direction to it. I'd be someplace else. OHI. That's a nice little bobble type pattern. I'd be a buyer of this one with the next expected target being the 200. AGNC. This one I'd be more apt to buy on positive trading. You've had kind of a spinning top. The gap up today, bringing you right up here, tells me if they open this positive, they're breaking this downward trend channel. Your next target should be the moving averages. And ALXN, that's nothing. I'd probably be more apt to be going short on this one on weakness. Where did I see that? CAVM, we did that one, right? Did that one earlier. Nice J-hook pattern. This one you can be buying on positive trading tomorrow. For a price premium bottom, do you wait for the breakout or buy a partial position so that do not miss a breakout? You can do it either way. What I usually look at is, let's see if we can find a fry pan. If I can see that the fry pan bottom moving from, I'm just picking up points, but if you're buying right in here and moving back up to the breakout level is a 12% move, yeah, I'll go ahead and do that. If it's a 3% move, I'd probably just wait for it to break out through that level. INSEE, we did that one. You can buy this one on positive trading. NVDQ, nothing wildly exciting here just yet. You can see this trying to base. You can buy this on positive trading tomorrow. Just make sure it eventually breaks this level so that you can start heading for the 50. Bill Barrett, nothing here yet either. If you were short, you covered the short. I wouldn't be a buyer until you see a close above the T line. HZNP. This one has to open positive. If you're in it, it has to open positive tomorrow to stay in it. If it opens lower, it kind of fizzled here. You can see there was indecisive trading at the T-line area. Did we do this one? Yeah, Sanchez. That one I'd be more apt to buy. RVSB. Stay long, but notice you're starting to move a little bit away from the T-line in an overbought condition. If I was long, I'd have my sell stop right now at today's open. It shouldn't come back down through that level. Same scenario here. Notice how you're starting to move away from the T-line. This is where you're starting to see evidence of exuberant buying. At this point, I'd probably have my stop right about in here. If it comes down through that level, they're trading off. EANV, same scenario. Put your stop at today's open. And SPCF, I'd be more apt to go after this one on positive trading on the J-hook pattern. Notice a little morning star type signal. That one's a good looking chart. CVS. If you're long, you stay long. If you're looking to buy, you buy it as it comes up through the 50. And Merck, nothing here. If you want to go short, there's nothing on that chart that would make me want to be long or short. Deckers, stay short. I would suspect they're coming back down into this area. If you're short, put your stop at today's high. It shouldn't come back up through that level. Goog, staying above the T line. Might be in a J-hook setup on that one. And Tesla. All you can do right now is stay long on this one. We did Nugget. ProShares. Same scenario. You're in a sideways mode. Use the T line as your stop. The Qs. Same thing. As long as you stay above the T line, stay with it. And Bank of America. Bank of America has to open positive. If you didn't close it out today after the bearish confirmation, if it opens lower tomorrow, close out the position. You can always buy it back on the next buy signal. BCEI, stay long. See the bobble breakout. Linear, nothing here. I wouldn't be long or short. There's nothing on this chart that would make me want to be in this one at all. And HZNP. Again, this one has to open positive tomorrow. Whole Foods. You can buy this one on positive trading. You would have your Doji Sandwich breakout into new territory coming out of this fry pan J-hook type pattern. And Bofi, another one you can be buying. That's a good looking chart. Freeport. Looks like it's still trying to get down to the 50. If you're short, you stay short. At this point, I'd have a buy stop at just above today's high. And BABA didn't do too much of anything, just sat there. Would suspect they want to touch the 200. Starbucks, if you're short, you stay short. Staples. Staples, you can get ready to short this one on the little kicker type signal. If it opens weaker, I would suspect they're coming back to test the 200. And NMIH, just stay long. You're in the overbought area, so always have a safety stop at where it opened. It shouldn't come back down through that level. This Chicago Merck. Stay long on this one, but this also, with these dojis right here at the T-line, has to open positive to stay positive. A lot of times you say it should not go below today's open, but during the day, stocks go up and down. You get stopped out before it goes higher. Yes, but if you're in the overbought condition, meaning your stochastics are in the overbought area, if you're in the overbought area and they have enough force to take it back down through the previous day's open on a good bullish candle, that means that you found the area where the bears are starting to take control. Oops. Disney. You're still in an uptrend. I'd still just at this point use the T-line as my stop. All right. Just have good markets. Hope everybody's making some good money. Been a lot of stocks out there over in the options room. This one's working well. There's a possibility of another 25 points to the upside on this one. And I know Nora pointed out Costco. She made 175% on her option trades today. Costco. So the biggie that's working is Apple. Ever since the J-hook type pattern and coming up through the 50. And I would suspect we're going to see more upside in this market going into the end of the year, just because there's no exuberant market conditions yet, and people are probably going to wait to take their profits till after the first of the year. Okay, with that, we'll see everybody bright and early in the chat room tomorrow. We'll see you then.